always tell the truth. Well, I brought you a story. And the story, this represents a tree. And I bought it at Albert Heijn. And they said to me, it's a very good broomstick. And often, this is the story that people gave to me. But the real tree is growing like this. It has leaves. It has branches. It has even fruit on it. There are emotions involved in a story. There are interactions, literal statements, details, a lot of details. This is only a trunk. There are unexpected events in it and sensory observations. So this isn't a story. We're nothing with it. You see Albert Heijn, no good. It's all about emotions. And a great many expert investigations that we as crime investigators witness are heavily charged emotional events. Think, for instance, like Christina said, about a fire, about an accident at work, losses of millions. Emotionally charged events stick in our memories. And that's the reason that everybody knows here where he was at 9/11. Everybody knows it. You even know where you were, you know with who you were talking to, but you don't know where you left your car keys this morning. Sadly, this is what I read in most statements. I don't remember. This is the phrase I read the most. You know why? If I don't remember, then it didn't happen. So that's the easiest way to come through with it. That's the reason I like to go to the scene. I like to talk with people. I don't do it by email. I don't do it by the phone. No, I have to face the people. And you see here a lot of emotions. You see a lot of faces, women, men, all races, all ages. And you can recognize happiness, sadness, fear, surprise, even disgust, and anger. That is what you see at the scene when you are talking to people. Nietzsche said it in the 19th century, people lie through their mouth, but with their facial expression, while they do that, they tell the truth. When I'm doing seminars, I usually play little games, and always little games for money. They like it because the only one who can lose money will be me. The other participants can gain money. My wife don't like the game. I have a rate success of 70%. With 70%, I can go to Holland Casino. Because there it's 47%. And look at the next guy. I ask him to put a dollar, a euro, in his hand. He may hide it. He shows both hands. I ask, is it in the left hand? He said, no. Is it in the right hand? He said, no. And I'm going to say in which hand it is. You see me clapping his hands. Did you watch his nose? Watch carefully his nose. At the moment, he's showing disgust. He doesn't disgust me, but he disgusted that fourth time on a row, I know in which hand the money is. So, I brought you a fish, and in Dutch, it's called a kooi with a K. I translated it to the English. It stands for calibrate. You have to calibrate someone. Then you observe, you make an observation, and the interpretation only comes by asking questions. Here, I ask for Nele, how many doors there are in our house? And she says, I'm going to count them. But she isn't counting. She's just like the audience here, lazy. She doesn't count. She says about 10. It isn't exactly 10. And here I'm asking her to definitely count them. And you see her looking at the upper right. Yeah. And this isn't because her house is built like this. No. She's thinking at the right side of her memory. Yeah. And that is her recall memory. That's a memory. She knows how many houses and how many doors she has in her house. She has to look, and I compare the memory with the computer. The computer has a hard disk. A computer has folders. On her computer, she has the folder house, the subfolder with the doors, and she counts the files. Well, all these people, I ask the same question. Hey, how many doors are there in your house? And they're all counting. And this man is a typical Belgian man. He has a big house, a lot of doors.
20.
And he says 20. Neither his house is built like this. No. He's just thinking about, in his memory, hey, how many doors do I have? And he's always looking at the same side. Now, you can do a lot with that. And how can you calibrate someone? It isn't so difficult. And I brought you Amir. And Amir is an old student of me, very fascinating. And one day he came too late at the classes, about 20 minutes. And I said, Amir, you're too late. Yes, a lot of traffic jam, sir. I said, we're going to play a little game. Write down if you're going to lie or if you're going to tell the truth. You may tell the truth, you may lie to me. Do it, he said. You won't see a thing. Well, the funny part, in the 5 minutes, I ain't gonna show it 5 minutes, but in the 5 minutes, all 20 signs of deception are going to appear. And the first one, look carefully at his eyes, where he is looking.
Goedenavond.
Goedenavond.
Amir is het zeker?
Amir.
Amir. Waar moet de klemtoon op leggen?
At the right.
Hoe spreek je het uit? Zeg nog?
Het zijn dus zo Amir.
At the right.
Amir.
Maar het zijn er vele die Amir zijn.
Ja.
Voor mij maakt het niet uit.
Het maakt niet echt uit. En van welke origine ben je?
At the right.
Iranees, ja.
4 times I calibrated.
Amir, je wordt te laat, hè? Hoeveel word je te laat?
At the left.
20 minuutjes?
What is happening? He's inventing something. And then he looks at the other part of his brains. Don't go home and ask your wife, did you ever cheat on me? And if she looks at the wrong side, don't do that, because it's only one little sign of probably deception. And I'd never say, like the Siri, lie to me, freeze the frame, he's lying. No. I just say, I observe something, I'm gonna ask a lot of questions at that moment. I have 6 non-verbal criteria, and I brought it specially for you, Joe. We have micro-expressions, changes in eye contact, the pupil that dilates, changes in the use of illustrators, shifts in attitude, and eye movements. And did you know that one of the most honest parts of the body is your feet? And I have a son of 10 years old, Matteo, and when it is his favorite menu, I call it in Dutch het WAP-menu, worst, appelmoes en patatten. There's sausage, apple juice and potatoes. He's sitting like this because he enjoys it. But when it is sprouches or chicorée, he doesn't like it, and his feet are in the direction of the door. It's he wants to leave the room. Now, later on the reception, when you're talking to somebody and his feet are like this, don't go on. He just wants to leave. He says something with his mouth, but with his feet, he shows something else. So you can prepare your words carefully to deceive someone, but your body language is a law to itself.
I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never.
He's also waving this finger. We call this an illustrator. And he's using this to distract attention away from his verbal message.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Actually, Bill does three things. One, he uses the trick with his hand. I did not look here, and here I'm lying. Two, he shows a micro-expression. And three, he says, I did not have sex with that woman. I don't know her, Miss Lewinsky. I have also a little game with 20 euros. I throw 20 euros in a room. 3 participants may go in the room, and someone has to have the 20 euros with him. I ask during 3 minutes questions. Here I have a rate about 90%. Because I have 3 persons I can interview. And people show all the time little signs. Watch this guy's eyes.
Je weet wie dat die 20 euro heeft. En ze zit in uw zak. Nee, zeker weten?
Ik heb de schade gezegd dat ze die doet.
There are even people who say yes to me or no to me, and with their head they say yes.
Heeft Koen het geld bij hem?
He said no, and look at his nose. Yes. So at that moment I know, give me the money. It isn't so difficult. So I have 3 clues. Non-verbal, people are saying a lot to me. Paraverbal, the way they are speaking. And verbal, that makes the story. A liar gives much shorter answers. He won't give you any details, no. A rise in the length of his pause. Wat Shamir?
Ja, maar dat is geen uitleg. Hè? Je hebt 10 minuten in de file gestaan en hij zit 20 minuten te laat. Of heb je langer in de file gestaan?
Nee.
Maar dat weet je nu toch hoe lang dat je in de file staat. Allee.
Ik heb er niet echt op gelet, maar bij zeker.
He wasn't looking, but he is sure. So no problem. Filling of pauses. My son, when I asked him 9 times 9, he said, 9 times 9, Daddy? He's repeating the sentence. Repetition, they have only the broomstick. They have their story that is in their head. They have nothing else, no details. And there is more stammering, a lot more. So you have to listen very carefully to someone, just like somebody who is blind. You have to shut up and listen and don't talk. Just listen what they are saying. And I have it in Dutch because if your wife says this evening, I went to drink something with someone, somewhere, then you have to ask questions. Because something is nothing. Somebody is nobody, and somewhere is nowhere, as long as you don't say it to me. But if you interview someone, have total belief in the subject. Only by believing the subject that you are interviewing, the whole story is coming true. The whole tree is there. Empathize and listen. And then, where there aren't any details, then you can ask your questions. Learn to listen to what wasn't said in order to discover what was said. And I have a very strange example of it. A few years ago, a pharmacist came to the police office, and it was June. It was a good day. He took a rest in his garden. He took a nap from about half an hour at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and he came to us at 10 o'clock. And he said, my wife has disappeared. I interviewed him and I asked, what did you do from 4 o'clock until now? He said, nothing. I ask you, for those who has little children, if your child, Lisa, disappears after a little nap, what are you doing? You're going to search, you're going to take your phone. He did nothing. In fact, he murdered his wife. He also murdered his first wife. But he came with it because it was a suicide. We found the same poison in her body like in the second wife. So what he did, he jumped into the space for 6 hours. He did nothing. There weren't any emotions, no interactions, nothing. Any old fool can tell the truth, but to tell a convincing lie, you need a man with common sense. You have to be very smart. So, for us, the most important thing always is your next question. And what questions do you have to ask? They are not so difficult. Who? Where? What? When? How? And why? It's for the money. It's all about the money. So, don't forget, have total belief in the subject. Empathize. And then there is a growing tree and no silly broomstick. 2, they can prepare their words, but to deceive, but with their body language, it's a law to itself. Don't go looking for a lie. It's no lie detection, it's truth detection. Go and search for the truth. So I have 5 things to remember. Go to the scene, shut up and listen, assume nothing, focus on body language, and seek for the truth. I also made a little lie. I would speak 18 minutes, but I spoke 20 minutes. I'm sorry for that. So.